Choose my. Okay. Hey, what is going on? We are live, and I am working on this piece here for an award-winning documentary called Making Megaforce, and it is epic. I've seen it. It's not out yet, but it is playing select film festivals. And when I say it's award-winning, it has won, gosh, I want to say well over 20 awards, and deservingly so. It's a really interesting story how this project came together. It's kind of a collab that I'm doing with the director. First things first, cheers. I quit coffee, and oh my gosh, it has been I've tried quitting coffee before, so I'm used to quitting. It's not that bad, but it's I miss it for sure, and I need it for sure. So I'm drinking a zero sugar 7-Up Tropical, and I gotta say, for zero sugar, these are delicious. Bottoms up. All right. So I've already gotten started on this. I'll talk art really quick, and then I'll tell you a little bit more about the project. So this is on illustration board. This is 18 by 24, I think. It's a nice, comfortable size. Sometimes I work larger. I don't like working much smaller than this, but this is a nice size where it's large, but it's not too large that things get lost out of my peripheral vision. So I've started drawing this. I should probably put on my glasses. I have used a projector for this a little bit. I've done a little bit more drawing kind of around that. So, and that's just to kind of get all of the basic proportions in, make sure the design stays retained. And now I go in and I do all of my drawing. I've got awesome reference here, like you can see here. And actually, there is kind of a digital mock-up of what the finished piece was intended to look like. And I'll talk a little bit about how that came about too. So let me talk about this Making Megaforce movie as I do my drawing here. So when I was at the award ceremony in Santa Ana, California, I had researched a lot of the films that that I was in competition with, because of course you want to kind of know what your competition is. And so I was familiar with those films. I wasn't really familiar with a lot else. And the show was so cool because it's just so inspiring. So many awesome filmmakers that have a vision and that put their blood, sweat, and tears into their project, just like we did. So it was just really cool. There definitely was a camaraderie with everyone. And whether you won or not, like, everyone has a story to tell and just went through, when you're not in the studio system being granted millions of dollars for your project, it just it's a lot of work, but also a lot of passion that that shines through for sure. So when I was there, it was really cool. First of all, there was this guy that I ran into outside when I was on the red carpet with Fiji, and this guy noticed, and he just kind of said right off the bat, he said, "Oh, Omnibot 2000," and I was like, "What?" Because an Omnibot 2000 is what Fiji was made out of. Mostly what Fiji was made out of. Obviously, his head's a radio. There's a lot of other parts like Zoid's toys and just all kinds of stuff that that I used in putting together Fiji, and had a lot of help assembling Fiji with Clayton Celesto, who did the main gimbal for the neck. But this guy, Bob Lindenmayer, was the first person to recognize the body parts that were from an Omnibot 2000, which is funny because I have joined like message boards and like groups, fan groups, of Omnibot 2000, um, the toy from the 80s, which I never had one when I was a kid, but acquired one when I was an adult. So I've made posts about Fidgy, and no one says anything. And I don't know if people are upset that if it's kind of like sacrilegious to destroy uh, an Omnibot 2000 to make your own robot. But for whatever reason, no one really says anything about it. And Bob noticed right away. Well, then, before the show started, they were playing trailers for a lot of the films that were nominated. And one of the trailers was for a documentary called Making Megaforce, which revisits the classic movie from the 1980s, if you're familiar with it. Even if you're not familiar with it, the story is great. So right away, I was like, oh my gosh, this looks amazing. Wow, I need to see this doc. Well, it turns out that Bob won the award for Best Pop Culture Documentary. Super cool. And I'm looking at my reference here, just taking a close look. Okay, looks good. So he won, and not only did he win that, this documentary, Making Megaforce, has won, gosh, I want to say it's in the 20s somewhere. And it's playing all kinds of film festivals, and it is just racking up the awards, and deservingly so. I finally had a chance to see the movie with my buddy Tracy Surgener, who loved it. He is a super Megaforce fan, and I saw it when I was a kid, but I probably saw it on cable, and maybe was playing with Star Wars figures, and maybe just wasn't uh, paying as much attention to it. I didn't see it in a movie theater or anything like that. But it is just chock filled with 80s goodness. And this documentary, I don't want to give too much away about it, but it's super cool. The documentary uh, includes Barry Bostwick, who played Ace Hunter in the film, and it's so cool. There's a lot about Barry I didn't know. I didn't know that he starred opposite Susan Sarandon in the Rocky Horror Picture Show. He also was one of the cast members of Spin City with Michael J. Fox, and also one thing that I didn't know until later is in the original Grease play, and I am a super Grease fan. It turns out that the original Danny Z, who I think in the movie is Danny Zuko, the original Danny Z is played by Barry Bostwick. So this is wild because when I grew up, I did have my mom had the record for the Grease movie, but also she actually had the record for the Grease uh, Broadway play, which obviously would have been Barry Bostwick on that record singing. So it's just super cool. Um, and obviously, what a memorable character he plays in the movie Megaforce. Okay, so I'm just kind of going here. I'm just emphasizing some edges um, from when I used the projector, just kind of laying everything out as I walk and chew bubblegum at the same time. And just so you guys know, I am using my You Can Draw a Star Wars pencil. Oh, you guys might be leaving comments. So let me do this. I have this, I'm in YouTube right now. Let's see. I'm not signed in though, so let me look up, let me look up myself. Matt Busch. And look at this, I'm live. Can I watch and see if there's any comments? Anyone hanging out yet? There's a delay here. There we go, check. Okay, good. The volume is down. Oh, I can do volume down probably another way. All right, so I got a couple people watching. It's all good. This is just kind of a last minute spiel. And here's my reference. Okay, rock and roll. So, so making Megaforce, it is just so cool. It kind of, I don't want to give away too much. I remember the trailer is great, so go check out the trailer. And when you get a chance to see this movie, I highly recommend it. Even if you, whether you know the film or not, this documentary is so good, and you'll see right away why it's award-winning. Just fantastic. Okay, this looks good here. Shade this in here. So what I've done up to this point here, and I'll talk a little bit more about how this project came to be. I'll talk a little bit more about Bob, but what I've done here up to this point, for those of you that are following for the art side of things, is I really wanted to have a cool textured kind of classic, you know, kind of a movie poster look, but, you know, just a little bit more retro. So for sure, what I wanted to do is I wanted to work on a textured board. And so what I did is I first took gesso, acrylic gesso, and I painted in, you can, I don't know if you can see on screen, but I painted in these just big sweeping brush strokes with a giant brush. And gesso is basically acrylic. Well, it is acrylic, but it's basically plastic, and it just dries hard. So anything that you draw on top of that has these cool textures in it. And you can do swirls, you can do all kinds of stuff. I wanted to just have lines going across this way, because a lot of the film just kind of has this, the original Megaforce has kind of this barren, desert-ish landscape. And so that's what I wanted to do, is kind of retain that. So regardless of how I'm shading with a pencil, all of the line work and later the brush strokes will all kind of be following those directional strokes. You can see here, if I hold this up close, hopefully this will, you can kind of see, do you see the texture now up close and how some of the pencil work? So the pencil work kind of follows that, which is wild, which is cool. Okay, so so Bob Lindenmayer wins, and we chatted a little bit after the show, and we after that, looking for my eraser here. After that, he gave me an opportunity to screen the movie with my buddy Tracy. Immediately, we had to Zoom with Bob and tell him what we thought of the film, and we had such a great time watching it. And Bob was really cool. Well, Bob was curious what it would take to get me to do a poster, and I said, well, you know, I'm kind of busy. And a lot of what's interesting, a lot of what when you're illustrating a poster, the big thing is just the design and going through reference. That all takes a long, long time. Drawing in some details on the wheel here. It takes a long time, and it just so happens that Bob had a design already, and this is it here. You can see, and he was going to release this. Actually, it had a logo on it, and I just think this design is awesome, especially when you see the way the logo is kind of incorporated into. This is actually Bob writing this futuristic cycle here. It's just an awesome, awesome design, but he really wanted it to be hand illustrated and just kind of bring that retro craftsmanship to the poster. And because he already had a design that he really liked and the colors were all set, this is actually pretty easy for me because all I have to do now is draw and paint what he already designed. And I do love design myself. I love putting stuff together, looking for the reference. It's a challenge, but it is a lot of fun. And so it was just really cool that this was already something, he's the director, so it's already approved. There wasn't any back and forth I had to go through with any of that. And all I have to do now is bring this to life painting it. And so I also asked Bob for his permission to work on these, to do these as a live stream and kind of share the process with y'all. So if you guys have any questions, I see some people are watching. Awesome. Thank you for hanging out. But if you guys have any questions, let me know. And I can walk and chew bubble gum at the same time. So just kind of separating some of the values here. Let's see, this one, you can see a little bit more of this jacket, and then this one I can see a little bit more of what's going on here. Nice little fold here. So yeah, and then so what this is, I'll be perfectly honest, I am doing this for free, but this is a collab, and essentially Bob owes me. And Bob is this really interesting cat who does everything. He has worked for, gosh, Nintendo, all kinds of places. He is a designer by trade, but also obviously now award-winning director, filmmaker, and just super cool cat. He is a self-professed geek, just like all of us are. And so anyway, so there's a couple things I will be hitting up Bob for, including perhaps some visual effects for the next Aladdin 3477 movie, which he knows how to do visual effects. He knows all kinds of really cool stuff, but he is a really good designer, as you can see here. So I'm just happy to kind of do this and knock this out, and then I get to use, I shouldn't say use, I get to work with Bob on some cool stuff that that I'll be rocking out soon in the future. So in the meantime, just having a ball rocking out this piece for making MEGAFORCE. And I'll work on this for just for a little bit. I actually I have a 1.5-year-old, and I'm on the clock here, where my wife and I kind of trade back and forth. Actually, I love hanging out with them. It's never really a chore for me, but both of us have work that needs to be to get done as well. So in, I don't know, half hour, 45 minutes, I'm gonna go hang out with my kid. Get the zipper in here. So I just want to make sure the first stage is just drawing everything, and I want to make sure I have everything locked and loaded, anything I need to use the eraser for. And I can see there is a fair amount of, you can kind of see on my hand here, there is a fair amount of smudging that kind of happens on the board, but that's actually all good. A lot of this gets painted over anyway, and it smudges on my hand when I'm drawing, but when I'm painting, it really kind of stays locked in. But part of what's cool of the smudging, you'll see the last step that I do for drawing this out in pencil is I use the eraser to kind of erase some of that smudging out, and I can get some cool highlights happening again. And it's actually all part of the process. So I'm not worried about that smudging at all. It's actually, it's all good. That is, I work with that as is. Okay, let's see. We got this cool antenna here. Back of the bike. Let's see, we got some, there's a lot of darkness. Here with the boots and under the motorcycle. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Got a nice cast shadow under the body of this. It was awesome at the award this ceremony, Great Minds Think Alike, because I thought, how cool would it be to bring Fidgy, that everyone would fall in love with Fidgy, you know, being able to meet him and take selfies with him and stuff, which was absolutely true. Well, Bob, I don't know if he one-upped me, but he also brought one of the Megaforce motorcycles, and there it was on display. So that was just really, really cool to see in person, one of the Megaforce bikes. I don't know if you can hear my son upstairs. He's sounds like he's not too happy. All good. It'll be my turn to take over in about a half hour here. But in the meantime, rocking out some details. Oh, poor guy. For the most part, he's a happy kid. He's he has been a riot, and most people that meet him say, "Oh my gosh, he's so happy," and he smiles, and um, for the most part, a bundle of joy. Doesn't sound like it at the moment, if you can hear that. All right, this looks good. This looks cool. Okay, rock and roll. Yep, yep. Okay, good, good. This is nice and dark here. Okay, there's some things I need to rock out. I need to get some of these cool lasers and such drawn out. First things last is I'm going to take a sip of my delicious. This is not sponsored by 7-Up, but man, these zero sugar tropicals, delicious. Let's see here. All right, so now what I want to do, I want to use a ruler, and I want to just kind of lock in some of these lasers that I just kind of lightly drew in under the projector. But now I want to get them locked and loaded just as Bob intended. Looks good. Okay. Anything else here? Good, good. That looks good there. All right. We've got a cool laser here. Again, right now, and I feel like the painting in general, when you have a poster, a movie poster, if it's well designed, the end product isn't the actual painting. The end product is the poster, which includes the type and the logo and everything else. And the way this poster was designed, it really was. You can't see it here because even in his mock-up of the kind of the digital art that he put together at first, before he knew this was going to be fully painted, this doesn't have the type. There's like the tagline up here, and the way that the logo, the futuristic logo, comes across, it really is cool. So I can't wait to not only see the finished art, but to see how it all comes together. It really is a cool design. Let's see, we got this cool laser here, a little bit thicker. Knock that in. Poor kid. Let's see. Okay, this here comes across to about there. Good. This goes to here. And that goes to there. Okay, cool. Now, this gets a little skinnier here. This goes to here. Okay, good. I love the colors of this poster. It definitely has kind of a desert feel, so there's a lot of the just kind of the uh, yellow ochre, yellow oxide, you know, kind of sand, but also these oranges and yellows just really, really help make it, just give it that super cool. I'm gonna make this line parallel to this. Is that where that, no, this goes a little, this comes out a little bit more. Let's see if this is here. Oh, if this is here. Ah, all right. I see. So this is gonna go here. These cool Z patterns. So if that goes there, then this is going to come out here. Very cool. Can you guys see I'm wearing glasses? I wear glasses now. And the sad thing is I need glasses for both, especially looking at things close like drawing or reading, or, you know, if I'm working on the computer or something like that. It helps when I'm looking at my phone. If I'm just like, I don't know, browsing through socials or something like that. I don't like need them for that, but it does help. Let's see. This one's a little thinner. Make sure I have this parallel to this one. Good. And then I can erase this. I have a little bit more room. You may notice I have a little bit more room around the borders than are in the kind of this version here. And I did that on purpose for print reasons, you know, because sometimes things get cropped, but also if in the final art for any reason, if Bob wants to adjust a logo a little bit different, or if this goes to print on something that has a little bit wider paper, or if it's a little bit taller, there's a little bit of wiggle room that that Bob has with this. Looks good. Okay, there's that, good. I've got this erased. This is just kind of smoke up here anyway, but that we don't need. Okay, good. Let's see. Over here, let's check this out. Oh, okay, so that kind of goes up like that. I dig that. Okay, so erase this a little bit. Anyone have any? Oh, we do. It looks like we do have a question. Will we work on more of streaming this as we go? Yeah, that is the, thank you so much. Oh, good morning. There is a good morning. I didn't see the chats down here. Good morning. Yes, I will be. My plan is to stream all of this, and to, as I work on this, here and there, I'm going to, yeah, I'm going to stream it, and you'll be able to find them. If you're not watching this live, or if you miss some of the other ones live, you will always see them in the live section of my YouTube. And I'll probably share links to them on socials as well. Yeah. So good morning. Yeah, that is the plan. I thought it'd be cool. I've always been meaning to do more of it. There is a scenario that why it's kind of been slow going, and that is this. I have, right now I'm just recording straight to YouTube live. Not that big of a deal, but I normally do live streams through a, it's not an app. It's just a service called StreamYard, and I really enjoy using it. I've been using those for the live stream lounges, and those are cool because I can bounce. Not only does it go to my YouTube, it also goes to my Facebook, my LinkedIn, my Twitch, which I'm not on very often. I don't even know how to use Twitch, but it bounces there, and I do have people that I run into that say, hey, I was watching you on Twitch. So I like that about it, and it's easy where all the comments kind of funnel to the same place, and I can read all of the comments across all of them. So I've been trying to get a setup where I can do that, not only where I hang out for the live stream lounge when I bring in guests, but I want to do that here where I'm drawing, and I can do live streams that way. Well, the problem is the way that StreamYard works, they've just increased their prices. And when I say increase their prices, like crazy increase their prices. For example, gosh, the to use a second camera, which is what I need in order to do a situation like this, because I need something where I can, I don't know if you guys can see here, but I'm kind of looking at all of the comments funneling in on my iPad here. So I need something that I can look at to see what's going on, but I can't look like at my phone and read comments at the same time as everything going on. So the issue is, in order to be able to use a second camera for StreamYard and to be able to control the different camera angles, the cost, I kid you not, it's $90 a month. So even if I don't use it, like if I get busy and I don't do any streaming, I just paid $90 a month. That is cray. I just can't in good conscience, I can't do that. Like, what? That just makes no sense. So, so I need to figure something else out. So in the meantime, I'm just going straight to YouTube, and then I just have my my iPad here that I can take a peek at the comments rolling in, and that's how I'm doing it for now. But as soon as I can figure out a way where it doesn't cost $90 a month, then I'll probably stream to all the places. And I really like using StreamYard, I do, but holy cow, super, super expensive. So thank you. I love watching you work in vids. The You Can Draw Star Wars series. Yeah, thank you so much. I had so much fun putting those together. And I do have more tutorials in the pipeline. But what I end up doing, I try to film a lot of videos at once. But if I release them all at the same time, they get lost in the shuffle. So what I end up doing is I have a new long form video coming out every single week. So lately, there was a lot of them on Aladdin 3477. I did release one last week on hanging out with Eric Steele that was about building your own or running your own design studio. And he had some really good tips for that, if you haven't seen it. But thank you so much. Did I use a projector to start the faces? I did. I used a projector for two reasons. One, for the likenesses to kind of get those cooking. And then also there is this layout here that Bob Lindenmayer, who is a designer, he put this together. I think this is a really cool layout, especially when you see how the logo looks with it, as well as the tagline that goes up here. It's just a really nice, really solid design. So in order to retain that, I did use a projector to kind of map it out. But then before I even start painting, I like to just kind of go in a little bit more and really beef up the drawing from here to make sure that my underdrawing is solid, because a lot of that shows up in the final. Let's see, there's a couple more areas here, a couple more lines that I need to lock in, and then I'm just gonna kind of beef up some of the contrast in a couple places, get the shadows, some of the shadows a little bit juicier. That looks good. That looks good. Okay, good. You know, the other thing about using a projector, which is great, getting some of those details locked and loaded, but sometimes you can't see everything with a projector. And so I really like to kind of go back and really get the drawing in. And that way it isn't so traced, because it can really feel like it's just a tracing, and then everything just feels really static. So you really want the underdrawing to be an illustration. You want it to feel like a drawing. And so that is the idea. Okay, now there is, I don't know if you can see it, you can barely see, there's almost like a moon kind of thing happening right here. And when I was using the projector, I couldn't even see that. So I need to try to duplicate that. And I'm going to do it now while I have an eraser, just in case. I think it might even need to be this one here. That looks pretty good. It is dipping into this part here a little bit. And it comes down. Oh, I see. It actually, there's some of that. That looks like it is it. That looks like it. Good. And then you can just faintly see it coming through here. Cool. Let's see, what else? Okay, so now I'm just going to go through for the next 15 minutes. I'm just going to kind of go through and make sure I understand where all my lights and darks are. Because the first step of the process, well, the first step of the process is putting in the darkest darks, which you'll see the next time I do one of these live streams. But after that, it's all washes, acrylic washes, where you can see a lot of the underdrawing that comes through in the painting. So that's why it's so important to really get it locked and loaded. This looks cool here. Oh yeah, this is nice here. I like this little purple swirl. This looks good here. Very nice. That looks cool there. We got some comments. Let's see. OBS Studio might be worth checking out. You know what? That is a great suggestion. I hear a lot of people saying that. When I did and here's the reason why I am not super tech savvy. And when I did all my research, when I knew I wanted to start live streaming, and this is back a couple years ago, boy, did I do my research. I really did. And when I found StreamYard, it looked so easy. And sure enough, it was easy. But I did a lot of research on OBS, and I believe OBS is free. But man, at least a couple years ago when I was looking at it, it did not look easy to use at all. And I was like, man, it's not like I like spending money, but I would rather have it be easy. And at the time, StreamYard was not that expensive. So I was like, you know what, I will pay. I don't mind spending, 18 bucks a month or something like that. If it's easy to use and it's, fully loaded with the bells and whistles, that sounds good. Well, StreamYard was bought by a larger company, and the first thing they did was raise the prices. And when you're used to paying $18 a month, and then to do the exact same stuff now costs $90. There is a cheaper version. There is a $45 version, to be fair, but that doesn't include the second camera. And that's the biggest thing that I need and that I really appreciated with with using StreamYard. And it was helpful for the setup that I had in the lounge area that I have, which is where I would do all of the live stream lounges. Kind of getting this in here. Very cool. Like I said, this Bob Lindenmayer guy is super cool. He's on the West Coast, so he's probably sleeping right now. But in the future, I will maybe let him know ahead of time, and he can probably be in the comments if you guys have questions about the film. He would probably love to, chat about it. And I need to have him on the live stream lounge anyway, as a guest, as a video guest, chatting about all the things. So many details on the motorcycle. Cool. This is all dark here. That looks good. This is just a little bit darker here. These are darker. Cool. We got some more questions here. So thank you for the OBS. I may be looking more into that. Do I have a projector I recommend? That is a great question, because recently I was going to order more for the school I teach at. The one that I use is a Design Master 2, and they don't make those anymore. You can probably find them on eBay, reasonably priced, I'm sure. But when I'm ordering stuff for school, they only purchase new equipment. They don't, they don't look for deals on eBay. So I've been having a hard time finding a projector. In fact, if you guys know, because also I think Artographs which is another company that makes projectors. They might even make the Design Master 2. Maybe they went out of business during COVID. Um, I can't remember, but I don't think they make projectors anymore. So it's been hard finding them. So if you guys have any suggestions for projectors, please let me know. But I use a Design Master 2. Let's see, I also wanted to say thanks. Your process videos have been really helpful. Awesome. Reference for my illustrations. Didn't go to art school like yours that have been for me. Thank you. You know, the whole thing about art school, and I always say this, art school is good and can be good because you have a curated program teaching you all the things. But the reality is you don't really need to go to art school. In the end, it's just your portfolio that is going to be the difference of whether you get the gig or not. No one really cares what school you went to. But what I would say is you need to educate yourself, and YouTube is a great place. But one of the things where sometimes it falls short in terms of people that go to school or don't go to school, when you're learning things for yourself, a lot of times, and listen, I'm one of them too, it's real easy for us to look up the stuff we want to learn, and then the stuff that we don't really care about, we don't really look up. So there's a lot of things in school, like the business side of art, where like, I don't want to read books on that, or I don't really want to watch YouTube videos on that. Well, in school, if you have a good program, you have to learn that stuff. And so that's where school can be helpful, is it's a curated program hopefully by professionals that that really help you out with a lot of that. And so that's where school can be a win. But either way, there are plenty of people that go to school and don't end up doing anything with it. So it really is on you. And that's why I always say there are people who go to school and then, you know what, things just don't work out for them, and they don't put in the work that it takes once they're out of school. And that's not to say that that doesn't also happen to people that don't go to school, because you have to put in the time, you have to put in the energy, you have to take what you've learned, and you have to make it happen. You have to make it so. This looks good here. I'm walking and chewing bubblegum at the same time. Very good. Okay. Yep, this here is just a little bit darker. Okay. So anyway, yeah, school, it's just more about educating yourself than if you go to school or not. And that's also true of if you go to a really good school or a prestigious school. Listen, for every prestigious school that claims they're the best, I can show you a lot of people that went through the program and maybe they even did their homework, but then as soon as they got out, as soon as it wasn't homework anymore, they just kind of fell to the wayside, and life happened, and then that's it. So so keep that in mind. It's really more about, are you in it to win it, and are you going to make it happen, make your dreams come true. Barry Bostwick's ear over here. Hair gets a little darker kind of around the sides here, so I'm going to shade this in just ever so slightly, as he's got great hair. But you know what, both Barry and Bob have great hair. I wish I had hair like this. Full head of hair. I would have so many cool haircuts. Instead, shave it every couple days. I guess it's nice. I don't have to spend money on getting a sweet haircut. So that's cool. Let's see. All right, this looks good. This looks good. Sharpen my You Can Draw Star Wars pencil. You didn't know these existed, did you? Let's see. Looks good. Okay. This darker here. This darker here. Good, good, good. This gets a little darker here. This gets a lot darker here. All right, very cool. This looks good. So, as I kind of wrap this up here, I am going to continue on this. It may be a little slow at first, and the reason why, I have a show in Toledo happening in less than 2 weeks called the Fantasticon, and there's a lot of prep work that goes into getting. There's like a booth that we build. We actually travel the day before, and it's really nice. They're giving me my triple booth space for free for appearing at the show. They're actually, for me and my crew, they're giving us hotels even the night before so we can set up the day before. The reason I'm telling you all that is because we have to set up the day before. It's like a full day of load in and building this booth that we have for both myself and ALADDIN 3477, and it just takes it takes a while to do, but definitely even before that weekend, there's just a lot of prep work in making sure everything will go off without a hitch. So my plan, I'll probably be doing another live stream beginning the painting process next weekend. And then I'll probably have a weekend off because I'll be out of town, and then I'll continue from there. So, Bob, if you're watching this, I apologize. This is going to be a little slow going at first, but I'm excited about this. This is going to be a cool piece. This is going to be a lot of fun. I'm going to continue working on this a little bit. I will post a nice close-up. You can kind of see it here if I hold it like so. But I will post a clear shot of this on my socials as soon as I finish, and just kind of share the process along the way. I'm gonna go watch. I'm gonna go watch my son now, but also I'm gonna spend a little bit of time rocking out these fun futuristic dune buggies and these motorcycles here. There's just a lot of chocolatey goodness with this image that I can't wait to render out. Looks good. Cool, cool. Under this here, these dune buggies are kicking up smoke here, which is really cool. All right. Well, this is where it's at now. I'm going to do a little bit more pencil work. Again, the stronger your underpainting is, before it comes time to painting on top with your transparent washes, the better off it is going to be. Whoops, I'm holding it a little too high there. There we go. So can't wait to show y'all the finished product. Yeah, there we go, something like that. All right, gang, be good to one another, and I look forward, thank you for hanging out. I look forward to doing more in the future. Let's see, how do I probably push this button right here. See you guys. Oh my gosh, there's Bob. Bob, you're gonna have to watch this whole thing after. I just saw that you commented on Facebook. All right, guys, see you soon. Peace.